My name is Susanna. I work for the Crawfordsville District Public Library, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this crochet wrap bracelet. Now you will need some yarn, a button, some charms, a crochet hook, any size will do for this project, and a needle. I'm using a large blunt needle with a large eye, as well as some scissors. Okay, to get started, take your crochet hook and your yarn, and you're going to tie a slip knot on your crochet hook. Now, to make a slip knot, you cross the yarn to make a circle like you are tying a normal knot. So, like this. Then you bring the end around the circle as usual, but instead of pulling the whole end through, pull only the middle through, making a loop. So you see, when you normally tie a knot, you would fold the end up like that and pull it through and make a knot. We are not doing this. What we are doing is we're taking the end and we are laying it over the top of our little circle, and we are pulling the middle of that end through the circle, keeping a hold on the very end. So now we've got a nice loop here that came out of the circle. So now I am going to put this loop on my crochet hook, just right there on the end. Hold on to the loose end right here and pull on the other one to tighten it up. Okay, now I have a slip knot and I'm ready to start crocheting. So we're going to do the chain stitch. So we have one stitch on the crochet hook, and then we have this long yarn connected to the ball. I'm going to take the long yarn and wrap it around the crochet hook, just once. And you want to make sure that every time from now on that you wrap around the crochet hook, you're going in the same direction. Okay, so now we've got our slip knot here, and we've got the wrapped around piece of yarn. We're going to use the hook to pull that wrapped around yarn through the stitch from my slip knot. And now pulled it off, and I've got one stitch on the crochet hook, and I've got the start of some crochet here, the start of my chain. So I can do it again here. I wrap around, I use the hook to pull that through. I'm gonna keep going. You need to chain stitch about 3 to 4 feet for this bracelet when it is loosely stretched. Not super tight, not all scrunched up in a ball, just loosely stretched. But that's a very inexact measurement, just based off your personal preference, how many times you want your bracelet to wrap around. can see the chain forming here as I'm pushing it off the hook. This comes over and joins the chain. Yeah. All right. Let's say that is enough for right now. I'm not going to do the whole long bracelet. I'm just going to do this small bit as my example. So now I'm going to take my charms. This says, let's see if I can get it the right way around. Oh. REF for reference. And I used a claw clasp to bridge the difference between the charms and the jump ring because the charms were too small to go on the jump ring, but it doesn't matter. It looks fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread the charms onto the bracelet, just right down here, until they're sitting next to my crochet hook. Now we're going to slip stitch into the 5th chain from the crochet hook in order to make our buttonhole. So if you'll notice, looking at this chain, one side looks different from the other side. This is the top side here, and it's got sort of a ridge down the middle of it. And we're going to count those ridges right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the one that I'm going to slip into. So I'm going to just stick the head of my needle under that little ridge right there. So now I have 2 stitches on my needle. I have the one from the end of my chain stitch, and I have the ridge that I just slipped into. And now I'm going to take my long yarn and I'm going to wrap around. I'm going to slip first that ridge off over the wrapped around yarn, and then my old stitch. So I'm just left with 1 stitch on the hook, and I have got a nice little buttonhole here with the charms linked on at the end of my chain. To go to the next ridge down, which is right here. I'm going to slip into that. Let me tug it open a little bit so it's a little easier. There we go. So now I have the 2 stitches. Take my long yarn, wrap it around, pull. Oops, it's a little tight. There we go. First 1 stitch, and then the 2nd stitch over that yarn. And now we go into the next chain, next ridge in the chain, I should say. This is just making it a little bulkier while we reinforce that buttonhole we made. So 1, 2, there we go. Over, that over. So I have chain stitched all the way down, made myself a little buttonhole, and then slip stitched all the way back to the beginning. So now what I am going to do is fasten off, leaving a good long 6 inches of tail. So I'm going to cut my long piece of yarn off the ball. Now I have this new long tail, and I'm going to wrap that around my hook. Then I am going to pull that through my last stitch and then pull it all the way through. So it pops out like this, and tighten it up a little bit. So now that's secure. All right, now I am going to attach the button. So you can see here there's a ridge around the button that shows that it's the front side, and the back side is just smooth. So I am going to thread my needle. It's large eye, but not too large. This is important, to go through the holes of your button. Thread that long tail we just made onto the needle. There we go. All right. And then go through the back of the button to the front. Push the button all the way down to the very base of the chain. And now you can see I have 4 holes in my button. I'm going to go in to this one across where I came from. Now I'm going to come back around to the buttonhole next to where I came out. Go back up and go across into the last hole. Let's see, I don't think there's room to go back through since this yarn is pretty thick for this button. So what I am going to do is knot the ends to secure the button. There we go. That's more secure. Once more for safety. Nothing special, just a normal square knot on the ends. Now, I'm not going to take this end off the needle because I want to hide the ends and make it look a little bit tidier, a little bit more finished. So I'm going to take this needle and I'm going to just wiggle it in bracelet, sort of try and hide it least an inch down. There we go. The reason why you want to weave the tail in and hide it and then cut it, rather than just cutting it right at the base of the knot, is because then the knot will unravel, because there's nothing holding it in place. So this is much more secure. There's that one. Cut off. And there we go. There's that buttonhole, and the button, and the lovely chain. Loop the button through the buttonhole. And now you have a tiny little wrap bracelet. Maybe this is a ring. Maybe that's what this will be for. And here's the full-size version, which has its own little buttonhole on the end. I can show you. Much longer. And tied. Not tied. Here's this buttonhole. You may be able to tell that I am not a crochet expert. I am fairly new to this whole thing, but it's easy enough to do, and I think it winds up pretty cool. So I hope you enjoy. Bye.